I've been in HR for nearly 20 years, and I worked at Meta for nearly the last 5 years of my career. And as you can imagine, working at Meta had some incredible benefits, namely my salary. I was making over $250,000 a year. Really great benefits, really great perks. So when I was laid off in May 2023, that was obviously one of my top concerns, was what could I possibly do to maintain the lifestyle and to keep the money coming in the way that I had grown accustomed to. So for me, the obvious answer for myself and many of the other people on my team that were impacted by the layoffs was to look for another job in tech, where we were able to take senior leadership roles in HR that aligned with our previous roles and experience. And I definitely was very open to that. Early on, I applied and connected with some of my network and had some roles that I was somewhat interested in that I felt like would keep me on track. But in the back of my mind, I still was wondering if there's something else that I could do. Is there something else that I could pursue that would make me happy and would also allow me to live a lifestyle that made me feel free and really that I enjoyed and that I felt passionate about? Oddly enough, on the day that I got my email that I was laid off from Meta, I also got I sent a message to my coach that I'd worked with at Meta. And one of the first things he said to me was, "Congratulations, I'm so glad you're no longer at Meta. Now it's time for you to jump into coaching." And to be honest, I was pretty shocked and really taken aback and couldn't really understand why he would say something that felt so dismissive and frankly harsh at the time. But looking back at that, I still think that it was part of the plan and a catalyst for me to even consider coaching as a full-time role, because although I'd been coaching for many, many years as part of my role as an HR leader, I worked with, senior leaders and executives in a number of really well-known companies. I'd never thought of doing coaching on my own, by myself, as a full-time job. Like, what does that even look like? So for me, I was pretty hesitant. It opened my eyes a little bit, but still hesitant because I didn't really understand how this could be possible. He suggested that I join a coaching program just so that I could get certified and get some more exposure to the profession. So I thought that that was a good first step that didn't really require me to commit. Fast forward a few months later, I went and booked a trip to Bali, and I was really intent on kind of just coming back to myself and really thinking about what I wanted to do. I was almost done with my coaching program. I was getting more and more feelings about, I really loved not going into an office every day. I really loved the idea of making my life feel more free, more open. I would be able to travel. So the idea of entrepreneurship was really growing on me. And when I was in Bali, I actually started getting some visions and having dreams about what my life could really be like. I went to a goddess retreat and talked to some women and got so much encouragement. I did a lot of soul searching, and I came back renewed and really interested in pursuing this path. And one of the visions that I had when I was in Bali was, part of the reason that you're not sure about it is because you don't know enough people who've made a similar transition. So it seems like something that couldn't happen. Of course, I knew my coach. I knew I'd worked with other coaches in the past, but I'd never really seen anybody who'd been in corporate America, the amount of time that I had, and who'd stepped out on faith and gone into something completely different. So one of my visions when I was there was, do that. Look for the people who you've worked with, who you respect and you admire, who've worked in HR, who've been in similar spaces to you at some of the companies that you worked in, and who've transitioned successfully into the coaching world. So that led me to reaching out to some of my former colleagues, getting tons of encouragement and support, and actually getting an offer to come and do some contract coaching with one of my really, really good friends, who then became my first client. So things worked out. I'm still on this journey, but I really encourage people, when you have dreams and visions and ideas and you're not sure how to get there, That doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means that maybe it'll take a little bit longer for you to think through, to get past the fear, to push past the uncertainty. But know that the universe always provides resources and support if you're open.